First of all, let's give a moment of silence for the ones who aren't here with us today for whatever reason. Let's give this moment to them. Okay. Now, coming up on the couch, we do have a few things coming up. July the 30th is going to be ending this month with Fuck Fentanyl. And then August the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is going to be the next prison jail Felon Talk. August 10th, we got a guest, and it's going to be Derek. It's going to be his second time on the couch, so I can't wait to hear what he got going on. August the 12th is Autoimmune Disease Awareness. August the 13th is Sickle Cell Talk. August the 24th is Stop the Violence. And if you are in the Oklahoma City area and you would like to come to the prison reunion, second annual, that is going to be August the 29th. And August 30th is going to be the Fuck Fentanyl. So some of these subjects you'll hear twice. You like, damn, it seemed like you just did that. No, we do it every month. So, yeah. Now today's episode is called Cheating Parents. And I named it this because, y'all, we don't talk about this enough. And the other day I was on Facebook, and you know how sometimes when you watch the reels, when reels is going by? Well, I seen this reel, and it was this dude, he was acting like he was a child in the bed, and he was like, point of view when your parents in the middle of the night found out something about cheating or something. And so the little boy was asleep, and the mom comes in and was like, pack your things, we're leaving. And he's jumping up like, getting his bags, and the dad is like, no, lay back down, you're not leaving. But that whole scenario made me have a flashback, and I was not prepared for that. And I said, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. I'll give you my experience, and then I'll tell you we'll discuss the communities. First, let's start with the communities first. It's not talked about because there's no honor in it. Like, who gets pride out of saying, my mom cheated on my dad, or my dad cheated on my mom, or who gets pride out of that? No one. So it's not something, especially if you love your parents, like, you don't want to embarrass them by speaking on it. But it's like, do you ever get over that trauma if you never speak on it? How can you get over that type of trauma if you don't get to speak on it? Because that was very traumatic. Growing up and seeing your father cheat on your mom. Or because we even would say, if you're entertaining someone else, then you're cheating, right? So as a child, seeing my father kiss another woman, at my young age, I had no idea that was called cheating. I was just like, ha ha ha, daddy kissed the girl type shit. And all I remember is getting home, and after I said that, I remember my father coming in the room and knocking me out. And I don't mean like, no, what's that? I'm not talking about no pain pill making me go to sleep. No Benadryl making me go to sleep. I'm talking about he came in there and he punched me in my face and knocked me out. I remember, I don't know how long I was knocked out. I remember when I finally came to, when I say, because I was knocked out in my mom's room. When I came to, their room looked unrecognizable. And they were in my sister and my room fighting between the beds. And I'm not talking about no, I'm talking about throwing the fuck down. How have I not talked about this before? Because I honestly tried not to ever think about it. And then when I got older, even more so, I tried not to think about it. It's like, damn, But just like we deal with just like we deal with cheaters, y'all think that they didn't deal with it? The difference between their generation and our generation is they stuck by their husbands and their wives. They didn't leave. They didn't divorce. They stayed. No matter how bad it got, no matter how rough it got. And I think that's where the toxicity comes in the most. Because if you tell somebody that you forgive them, there's no reason that you need to bring it up again unless it happens again, right? Well, even though that situation was so bad and it seemed like things will get better, again, my father cheated on my mom again. And then it was another fight. Now this fight, it's gotten even more violent. So now I'm getting older, but I'm still a kid. I'm like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And I'm watching my house get tore the fuck up. I'm seeing things get repaired more often than it should. But I also have to keep a secret because these aren't the type of things that you talk about at recess. It's not. And not only that, is it got to a point where not only was my father cheating on my mom, but then he started getting abusive towards me. And I'm not even going to speak on anybody else in my family because after I spoke to my brother about his abuse, he claims that he ain't never been abused. He don't remember it. So I'm only going to speak on me. There was times I couldn't go to school because my daddy would beat me so bad in my face. And I'm not talking about with no belt. I'm talking about fists. Just like he knocked me out that first time, he never stopped beating me with his fist. All because he cheated and he couldn't deal with the fact that he cheated. But you keep cheating and getting caught. And now me, my sister, and my brother have to witness these terrible fucking fights, but go smile at school like everything's good and be able to concentrate in class and do this test. No. How can a child truly, and man, I commend those that do, but how can a child truly be a child knowing that they have to keep this heavy ass secret? Knowing that they have to deal with all of this bullshit. How? How does that even make any sense? To think that we'll grow up with no more trauma, to think that we'll grow up and be better versions of them just because of how they did us. And then we ended up becoming like them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And then when someone would be like, oh, you remind me of your daddy or your mama, you like, no, I don't. Well, they used to do this, and then you sit there thinking like, oh, damn, I am that motherfucker. And that's unfortunate. I remember when I first got out of prison, I was dating this guy. And even though we stuck by each other, we stayed after this. But I ended up cheating on him. I did. But I cheated on him. And even though I said, but, I know I shouldn't have did. I should have just left him. But I couldn't. I don't know why. I just couldn't say it's over. I couldn't. I was just like, well, I'm just going to make him break up with me. So I'm just going to go cheat. And so when I cheated, as soon as he got on the phone, I was like, I just cheated. And he ended up staying with me. Well, instead of genuinely forgiving me, it just got abusive after that. And so, not saying that, because I was in the wrong, but I honestly excused the abuse because I was like, I was the one that fucked up. But do y'all know my daddy one day was like, you cheated just like your father. Just like your father. Hold on. That made me feel so fucking sick. I'm talking about, like, I was like, everything that I don't want to be, the motherfucker proud? What the fuck? Oh, no. I've never cheated again. Ever. Like, to know that I can't be like, no, I know what it did. Even though I don't have kids in the household, I know what it did to my mental right now. Like, literally when you have a flashback about the shit. No, I hated that. The other day when I seen that video, I was like, wow, like, other people went through this. Other people, like, caught their father cheating and then they got abused and then they watched their mom and dad fighting. I'm talking about stabbing, fingers being messed up. Like, it's other people like that. Oh my God, my community, please, let's talk. Because what? Let me see. You said facts. I tell people this all the time. Once you accept it, you're supposed to move on and leave the first time. Please, I know it's hard, but if you can leave, leave. I know that you're just traumatized from this shit from forever. It's crazy that you're on here talking about family trauma. I thought about you the other day when I was having this kind of conversation with my cousin. Most of our trauma started at home first, which opened a door for us to deal with more trauma later. Exactly. You are not lying. And some of us, we're so traumatized by what's going on in the household that we've built this defense mechanism that we don't even know about. And it literally blocks everything that's happening, the trauma that's happening in home. That way, when you leave home, it's still blocked and you won't allow anybody to know about it. Partly because you're embarrassed. Partly because, shit, what was your partly because? Because for me, I honestly was in the mind frame because I was told you never tell your family business. But I didn't realize that was a way for y'all to keep secrets under the rug. You could never be free with secrets. You can never be genuinely free. How are you gonna be telling me to be free, be yourself? How can I be myself if I can never tell? That don't make no sense. How can I heal if I can't speak on what happened? How? How can I be my best version of myself if I can't speak on the trauma that got me to where I'm at right now? Because that's where it started. We should have never had to been subjected to watching any type of cheating, any type of fighting, cleaning up a tore up house. I'm talking about the fights used to get so bad. I miss so much school. You could ask people. And matter of fact, my daddy beat me in my school. I'm not talking about with no belt. I'm still not talking about with no belt. I'm talking about punching me, beating me in my motherfucking face like a grown ass. He was a grown ass man. But like I was a grown ass man. People to this day that went to school with me. And they be like, you still talk to your family? I'm like, no. They be like, oh yeah, I remember whenever your daddy, like, damn, y'all still remember that shit too? Because it was very traumatic. Even as another child having to watch or having to see this. My father did not only traumatize me, but you unintentionally went to my school and traumatized other children. And ain't no telling who some of y'all genuinely are today. Some of y'all probably have a fetish for kids. Some of y'all probably like to cheat and pride yourself on being the most secretive cheater. Like, some of y'all don't mind being just like your mother or your father. And it's crazy because I don't ever want to be like that. Like, when I heard how he was like, no, that was the first traumatic things that we were taken through. And it got to the point where I couldn't even really have friends like that. And then when I finally got some friends, I had to fight them because they started rumors about my family. And it was like, but is it a rumor? Like, I've had to sweep so much stuff under the floor, I almost don't even know what's under there anymore. Not that I was really surprised, but was I surprised that there's other families that went through having to deal with the mother or the father cheating and what it comes with? Because it doesn't always come with one of the parents saying, I'm leaving you. It doesn't always come with that. Sometimes it'll come with watching them beat each other the fuck up like they are in a boxing ring, but street fighting. Or it'll come with one child or the other being abused. Or it'll come with, man, I can't even count how many times my mom made us pack our stuff up because she caught my dad cheating again, or she couldn't get over him cheating. Which I'm not saying that she was wrong for that, for not getting over it. But I will say this. If you have been cheated on and you choose to stay with that person, unless they cheat on you again, you can't just keep bringing up the fact that they cheated on you because you forgave them for that cheat. Now, if you like, you know what, I got a feeling that you're doing something else. Okay, until you find out, you can't go back on your word. You already said you forgave them. But if you dealing with all of that, don't try to convince or make your children sweep it under the rug. Like I said, I remember when my mom would make us pack up. The last time she did this, and this was my fault, I take complete blame for what I'm about to share with you guys right now. I take complete blame to this day right now. I'm not kidding. Because if I wouldn't have did this, me, my mother, and my sister probably would be tight right now. The last time my mother caught my father cheating, before I went to prison, she made us pack our things up. And I remember we was living on 2943 South something. Or East. It was East something. Anyways, we packed our things up. We got in the car. And we left. And I just remember all of us was crying. My mom, my sister, and myself. And my mom looked at me and my sister and she said, I don't know what to do, y'all. What? Should I leave? But my mom at the time, she didn't explain to me why she wanted to leave. Like, I kind of understood, but I was a child. She didn't explain, like, I'll be miserable for the rest of my life, or, she never explained that. She just said, do you think I should stay? Or do you think I should leave? And I answered before my sister, and I was like, we should just stay. Daddy was crying, and I didn't know that he was crying because he got caught cheating. I didn't know that he was crying because he's a fuck up. I didn't know that he was crying because of that. I thought he was crying because my mom was leaving. And so if I could fix it, I was like, if I could kill two birds with one stone, then I said, Mama, let's stay. And she turned back around, and we stayed. And we stayed. I remember after that, it didn't get any better. It actually got worse. It was more blood. It was more like hospital visits. It was more school days missed. And I couldn't talk about being abused or being beat up because I just couldn't. I wasn't allowed to. I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't taught to speak on it. I was taught to hide it, to never speak on it. Nobody should know. Thank you so much for the gift. That nobody should know. Thank you. Thank you, love. So, even whenever I ended up getting a counselor, I thought it was a setup. I thought it was a test to see if I was going to tell. So I still never told until it got too bad. And then I ended up going to DHS custody. Now, this is the very first time. And I was 14 when I went to DHS. By this time, my dad found y'all remember those, they still got them, those extension cords, the green and orange ones? The big old thick industrial ones. Well, this is the reason why they took me to DHS, was because my dad made my mom hold me down on the couch. Now, let me pause. Because every time I say this, when I finally started speaking on it, he'll go, but she ran away. But why did I run away? Because I ran away because not only was y'all fucking each other up, but no matter what I did or said, my daddy would fuck me up. I didn't want to be just like we tell people, if you're in an abusive relationship, leave. I was doing the same thing as a child too. I was leaving. I was abused. I had to go. But when you're a child, it's really not the same unless you get DHS involved or somebody else does. They call you a runaway. They call you a bad child. They discipline you. But when you're an adult, they call it domestic abuse. For real. You have to deal with it as a child. But they're expecting you not to deal with it when you get as an adult. You better report them. But as a child, you got to deal with it, right? You get talked about if you tell on your parents, right? You don't do it. You just don't do that. And do you know, because of what I was raised on not telling what happens in the household, the only reason why the police was called to my school to take us to DHS custody was because that extension cord that my father beat me with, he beat me so bad with it that I bled through all of my clothes. And when I went to school, you know how whenever you in school, you got gym. You have to have gym. That's just part of I was in gym and I told my teacher that I didn't want to work out or nothing because I didn't really feel good. But I had a friend in there that had some extra clothes and I needed to change because I had on 3 pair of sweatpants, but I bled through every single pair and I needed to change because I seen that my blood was showing. Well, I didn't think that anybody seen my blood showing. Now, pause, because when I first came into school, it wasn't that many black people there, and the black people that was there, we was all tight. We was like, we called each other like brother and sister, unless somebody was dating in the mix. Well, when I first got in, like I was walking real slow, and usually people come because I'm always keeping people laughing. So they came to me and my brothers, they putting their shoulders and everything on me, and I'm like, and they like, what's going on? I was like, come here. And they was like, what? I was like, just come to the bathroom with me. They was like, to the bathroom? It gotta be serious if I'm coming to the bathroom. And when we got into the big stall, I pulled my pants down. And he was like, sis. I was like, no, look. And when he opened his eyes, he just started crying. And he walked out. And I just remember I was like, fuck. I was like, I need a pair of your pants. So he gave me a pair of his pants. That's why I had on 3 pair, because his was the 3rd pair. I put his on top of mine. So after that, my second class was gym. I went to the gym. I needed another pair of pants, so I was asking my homegirl. She told me to meet her in the locker rooms. Well, when I came in the class, when I first came in and I told my teacher that I didn't want to do anything, I didn't feel good, that's when she seen the blood, and she immediately alerted the police. So by the time I asked my homegirl, when I finally seen that I was bleeding through, I said, hey, I need to use some of your pants. So we go to the locker room. And first I asked my teacher, I'm like, can I go to the locker room to use the bathroom? She was like, okay. She didn't seem like she was on to me or nothing, so I didn't think nothing of it. I wasn't thinking that the police was going to be in the office waiting to take me and my sister to DHS custody, which is CPS out here, I think. Anyways, they called it DHS in Tulsa. Well, as soon as I got in there, my teacher followed right behind me. And she was like, can I see you in the office? I was like, okay. But can you give me a second? And she was like, no, can you come now? I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was in trouble. And so when she opened the door, the police was in there. I was like, what's going on? She was like, you're bleeding. I was like, what do you mean? She was like, you don't have to play dumb with us. They're here to talk to you. They're here to help you, is what she said. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she was like, well, if we go get your sister, would she say the same thing? I was like, I don't know what she gonna say, but I'm telling you, I don't know what you're talking about. So when they came and got my sister, I don't know what my sister said, but I do know that they came and they took me and my sister to Lord Desta Shelter in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they said, we're keeping you because there's abuse in the home. And in my head, I was like, yes! Finally, somebody see what's going on and I don't gotta say nothing. Like, yes, I'm about to be saved, but it didn't happen like that. I didn't get saved. And my father, he knew that we was not gonna say yes. He did it. And they took them to jail for this. He knew that neither one of me and my sister was gonna say that. So he told them, she's troubled. She beat herself. But the only thing is when they did a thorough, like, I'm talking about pictures everywhere from the top of my scalp to the bottom of my feet. Like, literally, I'm talking about each picture detailed with the tape, not the tape measure, but like a ruler type thing. I remember as a 14-year-old, I was thinking like, damn, am I in like a movie or something? Because it just seemed like a movie when they were documenting everything, even without any words, because I shut down completely. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I didn't have to tell anybody. kind of got the gist of what happened to me, and then neither one of the children are talking. And it's like, damn, all of that started with you cheating on my mom and kissing a lady in the store, and I seen it as a child. It's made my life end up spiraling as a child. And I'm just thankful now that I actually got a hold of it. And I was actually, brave enough to just step out and, because at first it was like, I didn't want to go against my parents. And, I was in the honor them phase, no matter what they did. And I was just like, even though my dad did this to me, I got to forgive him. It was hard because I actually hated him. Like, you cheated on my mama, you fight her, y'all fight each other in front of us, and we gotta see it. It made me angry. It made me very angry. So I tried to kill him. I wanted him dead. I would do stupid stuff and I would get in a lot of trouble, but I was like, it was worth it. I would super glue his change to the dresser. I would cut his shoestrings down the middle. I had this one medication, and it says that if you ingest, it wasn't like a medication, it was like a topical, and it says if you ingest, it had like a skull on it with the, like the bones, like you'll die. And I was putting it in his drinks thinking like, yes, one day he gonna just croak the fuck over. And he didn't. Yeah, but this was me as a child, y'all. I done grew up since then. Whoa. But if it would have worked, I probably wouldn't be here today, sitting here right now telling you guys the story. But it happened, and, it just was like, it took a long time for me to forgive. And when I finally forgave, it was like, damn, you really did that to get back at me. My, how the tables have turned. But just having to deal with the abuse, the cheating, all of that, it kind of sets a standard kind of in your head now. Like, you don't want to be with nobody like that, or you don't want to deal with nothing like that, or you don't. Some of us have those standards now, and then some of us ended up being like the parent that was cheating, or being like the parent that was dealing with the cheating. We watched our parents stay together even after cheating, so we think that we have to be like that too. But do you? Do you? You can get paid if your spouse is cheating. So, it's whatever you want to do. But back in the day, our families, they would stick together. And you would watch the misery. And we grew up learning that misery loves company. And we wonder why some of us grew up the way we did, or went through some of the things we did, or are the way we are now. Well, you was in the company of misery for so long. Now, you just got to do some deep searching and figure out, can you speak on it now? This is my first time, talking about it, out loud to my couch potatoes. I didn't really realize until I seen that video the other day how much it really damaged me, how much it really hurt me, or how much I really missed because of it. Because DHS, I missed a lot. I'm talking about school, all type of shit. They put you in wherever you going. If they taking you to Stillwater, you're going to have to go to school out there. You got to get enrolled every time you get moved to another alternative school. And you only get to go to the alternative schools in each county. You can't go to a regular school. That's another trauma in itself. One of these days, we're going to do a whole episode called CPS and DHS. CPS, DHS. Because some of y'all call it CPS, some of y'all call it DHS. Because I got just as many stories about that as I do for prison. And this cheating shit. We're going to keep this as a permanent subject on the couch. Today was the first episode of cheating parents. Let's do it. Y'all, if you just now tuning in, it's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. I do this every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday from 8 Central Time, and every Wednesday and Friday from 9:30 a.m. Central Time. Follow Couch Chronicles No Limits on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, THA Couch on Facebook, TikTok, Big O, Thread, Facebook, Fanbase, Favorited, Lemonade, Seen You. Did I say everything? I probably said something twice. Anyways. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is THA Real JANELL. And if you're looking for any good music from a new artist that you may have never heard of, if you've never heard of my music, you can always check my music out on all streaming platforms. Just type in my name, JANELL, in any of my songs like Can't Make This Up, Elevate, You Ain't Shit, You, Black. Then you can follow my artist page from there, because it's a lot of Janelles out there. They just don't spell it like me, I don't think. I love you guys so much. You have a beautiful day. Sending positive vibes, love, and energy your way. And if you can, send them back. I need it. It look like I'm high, but I'm in pain. I kind of see myself sometimes when I look at my videos. I do like this, and I'm like, ooh, let me stop doing that. But it's not because I'm on some psych meds or anything like that, but I'm in a lot of pain, and sometimes it makes me shake and I don't realize it. So, and if you haven't already done so, make sure that you check on your friends, anybody that you fuck with. If you can remember, check on them. Send some love, positive vibes to them. If you know anybody in a hospital, do a wellness check. And if you know anybody that's locked up, write them. Somebody right now needs to hear from you. I love y'all so much. It's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. And thank you, everybody that sent the gifts. I love y'all. Have a beautiful day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I guess I should say if I'm feeling good, huh? That should be a thing. I'll see y'all tomorrow if I'm feeling good. Love you.